This episode of the Mac Daddy Seminar is brought to you by Boots Down South. Summer is officially coming to an end. T-shirts and booty shorts are going back in your closet, and you got to start trying to find warmer clothes while looking fresh. Look no further than Boots Down South, a locally owned company looking to make sure everyone has a fall that they can enjoy comfortably while looking fly at the same time. Head over to bootsdownsouth.com right now. Support for the Mac Daddy Seminar also comes from Manscaped. Manscaped is dedicated to providing you with grooming tools for your family jewels. Look, we get it. Summer is ending and it's getting cooler. No need to trim up the old Alabama swamp, right? Wrong, okay? You got to keep that thing in check. With products like the Lawnmower 2.0, this thing will have you looking right down there, okay? You gotta check this out, okay? And ball wipes, look, don't even get me started on these, okay? They call them Crop Mop. They're refreshing ball wipes with active pH control, okay? These things are the truth, okay? This is my second package of them. I've already gone through the first one. I get done working out, don't want to take a shower. Fresh down there. You see what I'm saying? You got to go look this up, man. They're going to have you looking right through the holiday season downstairs, okay? Head over to manscaped.com right now and type in the promo code MacDaddy20 to get 20% off your first order. That's manscaped.com. What's cracking, pimps? What is going on? And welcome to episode 12 of the Mac Daddy Seminar. As always, I'm your host, Taylor Dunn, and as you can see, ain't nobody else here. There ain't no guest on this episode, at least not right now. They left the house to go do something this morning, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to record a podcast. So that's what I'm doing. You see, I got this Mac Daddy Seminar official t-shirt on today. So you already know what's going on, okay? Look, these things aren't on sale yet. And I've been giving away a couple of them to some lucky few who actually share the post. Don't hit me up. Don't be on here typing, talking about, how come you haven't sent me a shirt? We were best friends in high school. That don't matter, okay? Don't matter. You got to share the posts, man. You got to show me how dedicated you are to the cause. I'm not just going to make a shirt and give it to you. What do you think? Do I look like Santa Claus? No, not at all. I look like Tim Allen in the beginning of the movie. September. Don't be asking me for early Christmas presents. What do you think this is? It's been a wild 7 days, man. Okay? Let's just start off how it really is, okay? It's been a wild week. Since the last podcast, a lot has gone on. So, just to clarify, I'm still in the process of getting my house. I'm currently living with my friend, and I've been staying here and, just started going to work, and, everything has been going good, but I have been around, basically. So, last week we told y'all about how we were going to the Comedy Store in Los Angeles on Tuesday night. Now, I bought the tickets. The thing about the Comedy Store in Los Angeles is this is the best comedy club on earth, okay? This is where all of your big headliners, all of your big name comedians come to basically work out material, okay? Like, they don't just, boom, here's an hour, I'm going to go tour London. They have to build that material. Well, this is the main place that they go to do it because a lot of them live in Los Angeles, and this is the best club in the area, okay? This is like the holy mecca of comedy clubs. So we got tickets, okay? We went to go see Joe Rogan and Friends last Tuesday, and the tickets were $20 a piece. Now think about that. We're in California, okay? Price of living is a little bit higher. You would think, oh, you're going to go see Joe Rogan. He's a major comedian with the #1 podcast in America, in really the world. You would think his tickets are $200 a piece. Not here. If you go see him in Albuquerque or Alabama, Joe Rogan comes to town, you're not getting out of there for less than $200 a ticket. And if you want VIP passes, you want to go backstage and take a picture with him after the show, that's gonna cost you an extra $100. Ain't worth it. I'm gonna go ahead and apologize for any background noise from cars driving by. I gotta keep the window open because it's Southern California, baby. It's hot out here. Sorry if I look a little bit shiny, okay? This light that I got shining on me ain't doing a whole lot to boost my features, okay? But whatever, I'm gonna keep it going. So yeah, I paid $20 a ticket for these tickets. I bought them like 4 days in advance, and as soon as I bought them, it was sold out. So I was like, yes, okay, we got them. I hadn't started work yet, so that day, I'm just sitting around all excited about going and stuff, and I'm waiting on my buddy Fanning to get off work because he was gonna drive. He gets off work, and we don't end up leaving here until like 5 o'clock. Now, the main thing that you got to get used to in California is when and when not to drive, okay? If you hit rush hour traffic, a 20-minute trip down the road turns into an hour, okay? Like my trip to work in the mornings, if I leave at the right time, it could take me 20, 25 minutes. But on the way home, if I'm not in the car on the interstate by 3 o'clock, it's going to take me an hour to get home. So, just a little FYI, okay? So anyway, we leave at 5 o'clock, and I'm looking at Google Maps, and it's telling me that to get to the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, it's going to take us 3 hours and 45 minutes. So if we leave at 5 and the show starts at 8, that's a major problem. Okay? So we drive up there. It's pretty much gridlocked traffic. But somehow, miraculously, due to my buddy's immaculate driving, as much as I would hate to pay him a compliment, he drove flawlessly all the way to Los Angeles. And we get there at like 8:05, okay? We found a parking spot, which there's like one parking deck right next to the Comedy Store. And the only parking spot that was available was literally cut in half by a pillar. So I'm like, there's no way you're gonna make it. And he managed to squeeze that little bitty Prius into that spot. And I was like, you are the man. And he made it. We got in there. So we walk up to the Comedy Store, and I've only been inside once. I've only really been there once prior to this. And they let us inside, but I didn't get to really go inside of, the main rooms and anything like that. We walk inside. We're already like, crap, we're running a little bit late. I'm thinking they may not even let us in because they don't want us to disrupt the comedians that are already on stage by seating people and all that type of stuff. We get there, there's no line, walk straight up. They're like, what's your name? I need an ID. Bing, bang, boom. Walk inside, and then we're standing in line. It was like we were going into a haunted house, We're like 2 deep, and they're like, how many people are in your group? 2. Okay. Go, 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 go. And they had a waiter come up and take us to our table. First impression, when I walked into the main room at the Comedy Store, I was really surprised at how small it was. I'm thinking, because all I've really seen is pictures, and I've watched people who have shot their Netflix special there. I'm thinking, this place, are we in the right room? Because I know the Comedy Store has 3 rooms. They have the main room, the original room, and the belly room. The main room is their biggest one, and that's where they normally will have your headliner. But I walk in, I'm like, okay, I guess this is it. And we sit towards the back. We missed the host, who a host for a comedy show normally comes out and does like 5 minutes. They're not a big name act. And then they introduce the openers. The openers for Joe Rogan, first off, was Andrew Santino. Very, very funny comedian. I like a lot of the TV shows that he's on, and he has a really good podcast as well. I highly recommend looking him up. He is really, really funny, and I really liked his set. So next, the cool thing about the Comedy Store is you're sitting there thinking, like, well, who are they going to bring up next? With a high-profile act like Joe Rogan, you're thinking, this could be anybody. And I was under the impression that it was going to be like Andrew Santino does 15 minutes, the next guy does 15 minutes, another guy comes up 15 minutes, Joe Rogan would go up and do 15 minutes, and then more people would go after him. It didn't go like that. The second person coming to the stage was none other than Jim Gaffigan. This huge stand-up comedian with countless specials on Netflix and Amazon and everything you can think of. He comes up, does 15 minutes. He was fantastic. And then they bring out Joe Rogan. Now, seeing Joe Rogan in real life, seeing a lot of famous people in real life versus seeing them, on a phone or on TV, it's a lot different. Joe Rogan was actually a lot shorter than I imagined him to be. He's actually not a big guy. He's maybe 5'4", 5'5", but he's stout. He's kind of bulky, but he's still relatively a little guy. I look like I'm a foot taller than Joe Rogan. But it was cool. He went up, he was high as a Georgia pine to start off with, which was hilarious because we could see him from where we were sitting. We were in the back of the club, and it felt like we were watching it on TV from where we were sitting. And he had circles. His eyes were so sunken into his head, he looked like a skeleton. And he was like, God, I'm so hot. But he was hilarious. Watching him live was, in my opinion, 10 times better than any of the specials that I've ever seen. And he did an hour-long set at the Comedy Store on a Tuesday night. And he does that like once a week. So if you're a fan of Joe Rogan, I'm pretty sure he's going to have a special come out here pretty soon. But it was cool. It was a really cool experience. Not only that, but the crazy thing that happened, I'll get into that in just a second. So they have a 2-drink minimum at most comedy clubs. If you're not familiar with how a comedy club works, they do a 2-drink minimum because they have to go ahead and they have to pay the big name acts. Okay? Well, the place has to keep the lights on, so they got to make money themselves, and they got to make money to pay the acts. So there's a 2-drink minimum. I got like 2, I think they were called WeHo Breezes, really good drink, vodka, cranberry juice, and pineapple juice. It was fantastic. It tasted like candy. And that was it. I tipped our waitress, and that was it. It was $30. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's really expensive. Well, you knew what it was before you got there. So, $20 tickets with a 2-drink minimum. Okay, so it was $50. Who cares? I'm going to see Joe Rogan. That's cheaper than anywhere else you would see him. So, what the crazy part was, I got up from the main room to go use the restroom. And there's a hallway to the right of the main room, and I could hear music and I could hear people laughing, and I knew that there was another show going on in one of the other rooms. Now, I don't know the layout of this place, so I'm like, I wonder if that's how you get to the other rooms. So I went to the bathroom, I came back, and I kept hearing laughter, and I kept hearing people, coking and joking and whatnot, and I was just like, okay, I gotta see what's going on over there. So I tell my buddy, I'm like, hey, I'll be right back. So I stand up, and I leave, and I walk into the hallway. Now the hallway at one end, back here, so if I walk out, right, if I turn to my left, that's the entrance to the belly room. If I turn to my right, it's the exit and the back patio, and then right there to the right is the original room. Now I knew beforehand that Chris D'Elia and a bunch of other big headliners, Ron White, Steve Byrne, a whole bunch of people were going to be in the original room. I walked out into that hallway and immediately saw Steve Byrne. Steve Byrne is a phenomenal stand-up comedian, but I'm not personally a huge fan of his. So I see him, I'm like, oh shit. I pull my phone out, and I'm like, do I want to go up to him and ask for a picture? But I figured that'd be fake, I'm not going to be I'm not a fan of somebody, I'm not going to go beg them for a picture just to clout chase, you know what I'm saying? But right after that, literally as I'm looking at Steve Byrne, I look right behind him, and standing behind him is Chris D'Elia. Now, you know me personally, Chris D'Elia is one of my favorite comedians of the current time. Okay? I like all of his specials. I love his podcast. I listened to his podcast probably over the last year, and I'm just going to be honest. I had, some tough times being away from my family so much, and his podcast helped me out of a bad spot, essentially. It was funny. I really liked listening to it. And I saw him, and I'm like, oh shit. So I had to be quick about it, and I walked right up to him. First off, he's like 6'4", so he towers over me. I'm just like looking up to him. I'm like, hey Chris, and he fist bumped me, and I was just like, do you mind if I get a picture with you? This motorcycle is going to interrupt my fucking Chris D'Elia story, and I'm not happy about it. But it is what it is. He'll probably do that for 20 minutes. These people, every single morning, they crank up all their cars and they make all types of noise. Sounds like a fucking Fast and the Furious movie right outside this house. But I got to keep the window open because your boy gets shiny in this room. Jesus. Anyways, so I see Chris D'Elia, and I'm like, oh shit. So I walk up to him real fast, and I'm like, hey Chris, you mind if I... He's gone now. Thank God. Anyway, I walk up to Chris D'Elia, and he fist bumps me, and I'm like, hey Chris, do you mind if I get a picture with you real quick? And he just says, you ready? And I'm like, yeah. So I do real quick on my phone, pull the camera out, and he squats down next to me real quick, snap a picture, and then he starts to walk off. And I just say, really love the podcast, man. Big fan. And he's like, thanks, dude. And he walked into the original room and walked right up on stage and started his set. And I was just, and now most people would think, oh, he was being rude to me. What an asshole. Look, he was working. I get the hustle, okay? Just the fact that he stopped to take a picture with me, I was like, wow, that was really nice. And the thing that blew me away about it so much, are they building a fucking house out there? Jesus. Anyway, the thing that blew me away about it was, I had paid $70 a ticket to go see him with my wife in Atlanta back in November. And, it was $70 a ticket, and we had to drive 3 hours to Atlanta, and, he was like 500 feet away from us. But I paid for these $20 tickets, and not only did I get to watch Joe Rogan, I got to meet Chris D'Elia, shake his hand, take a picture with him. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, So I took the picture, and, he goes on stage, and I walk back to my seat with my buddy Fanning. He's like, "Where'd you go?" And I'm like, I'm all excited, and I just pull my phone out and show him, and he's automatically upset. He's just like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "He's just right around the corner." So I watched the rest of oh my God. I gotta see what this person's doing. They're out there building a fucking Ferris wheel or something. But anyway, I'm sorry. Look, I can go scream at the people next door and ask them if they'll keep the noise down because I'm in here recording a podcast, but that's not going to fly. So, sorry. It's just going to be a little bit noisy today. But anyway, I came back to the table, and, I was all excited. We ended up watching the end of Joe Rogan's set, and we leave, and we left that same direction that I went, and there he was again, Chris D'Elia standing in the hallway. But I think he saw how my buddy Fanning reacted, because as soon as he saw him, he just went, "Oh!" That was literally the sound. I was like, there he is, so if you want to take a picture with me, he just goes, "Oh!" So he ran back in the original room, and he didn't get to take a picture with him. But it is what it is, but it was just crazy. I felt like, I mean, to me, this is like me meeting Marvel superheroes, Like, I felt like a kid getting to meet Iron Man, It was crazy. Absolutely amazing experience. I really had a really good time, and I can't wait to go back. I'm been looking at tickets pretty much every day to see like who's coming up, who could I go see next, who could I potentially get a picture with, who can I, and that's what makes that place so special, man. I can't wait to perform there one day, and it's not as hard as you think it is. They have open mics. I'm working on stuff right now in San Diego. I know people have been asking me, when's your next show? When's your next show? It's like, look, I got to get settled first. I'm trying to put a house together by myself. My wife and my daughter are not with me right now. I don't even have my house yet. I will next week. And, there's just no rush. I'm going to be here for 3 years, man. But, yeah, it was awesome. And then we drove back from LA, and we didn't get back to like 1. My buddy had to stop and pee, and he would not get out of the car to pee because he was afraid of where we were. I don't know why, but he was scared to get out of the car, and he was like, I have to pee too bad. So he peed in one of these, filled it to the top, and then asked for me to grab him an empty one out of the back, and I had to swap it with him. Now, I didn't touch nothing, so don't get it twisted. But he handed me a full bottle of pee, and I very carefully, like I was disarming a bomb to make sure not to spill any of it on myself, twisted the cap back on. And it was all good. And we went back to San Diego, got there at 1, and I started work the next day at 10 o'clock. So it was cool. I got to sleep. He had to get up early. He got up and left at like 5. I don't know how he did it, but, he did what he had to do. And, yeah, other than that, just been going to work, getting in a groove, and getting stuff ready for the house. My house will be ready this coming Friday. I got to have the movers move in all of my furniture. And then the following week, my wife and daughter will be here. I'm flying them out, and I'm going to go pick them up from the airport, and we will officially be California residents. I'm super excited about it. You know? But yeah, man, we really didn't do too much else throughout the week. I mean, if you already starting off on such a great note on a Tuesday night, I mean, what else could I have done that even got close to that, you know? But I'm trying to think. I've been going to the gym pretty much every day. Look, I've been using going to the gym as an incentive to waking up earlier because I'm trying to beat morning traffic. Okay, look, I've explained it before, okay? I'm from the South. I'm not used to 6 lanes, rush hour traffic, 65, 70 miles an hour just to get to work in the morning. I'm used to like one quick little road, bust a left, and you're there. But this place, I mean, you really have to pay attention while you're driving. So if you can avoid a rush hour time, that's the best thing to do. So I've been waking up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. tomorrow, and I'm going to, go to work. And then I don't have to actually be at work until 8 o'clock. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go to the gym. I've been going to the gym pretty much every day. I haven't gone this weekend. I just really kind of taken some time off this weekend. But yeah, and it's good. But it's cold in the morning here, man. It's like 60 degrees. When it's 80 degrees, and then, I mean, I ain't complaining because I've been getting good sleep in this house that doesn't have air conditioning, because in California, it's the law that you do not have to have air conditioning in a house. And when I first thought about that, I was like, that is the craziest thing I've ever heard. But when you get into the nitty gritty of it, you realize you really don't need air conditioning. You just have a couple of fans, and now I'm used to it. So it's whatever. But yeah, it's been good, I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a blast out here. And I'm looking forward to, starting stand-up more out here as time goes on, I've just been kind of scoping the area out. I think this upcoming week I'm going to go to a couple of the local clubs and just see what's going on there, and see what's cracking. But yeah, so obviously, yesterday was a huge day for college football fans. I mean, not so much if you're an Alabama fan, because you ain't played nobody. I'm sorry, hate to put it so bluntly. Who have you played? Duke? Southern Miss? New Mexico State? You've yet to play anyone. Hate to put it so bluntly, but there it is. But yeah, Alabama beat the shit out of a couple of teams. They kick off at like 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm not even awake here because, we're in Pacific time. So here it's like 8 o'clock and it's 10 o'clock in Alabama. So by the time I woke up, the game is already almost over. I'm like, I don't know for sure if that's when the Alabama game was, but I know it was early. Definitely wasn't in no prime time spot. You can watch the Alabama game without getting out of bed in the morning because they have games that start at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I have people who are family members and friends who are intoxicated during the Alabama game at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm just shaking my head about it, man. Other than that, who cares about that? The Georgia-Notre Dame game was really entertaining to watch. I got to give it to Notre Dame. They put up a much bigger fight than I thought they were going to. Their tight ends and their receiving corps was almost immaculate. I mean, they really played a good game against Georgia. And that Georgia running back, Swift, he is a force to be reckoned with, man. Because, me being an Auburn fan, in my opinion, our biggest perk that we have right now is that we can shut down the run. I don't know if we're going to be able to shut down Georgia's run. Okay? Hey, that boy was on something else. So, yeah, that was a really good game. And to be honest with you, I think Georgia should jump above Alabama because Georgia has proved themselves and beaten a quality opponent in the top 10. How do you keep your spot at... I read a poll today, and somebody was like, Alabama should move to number 1 over Clemson. What the fuck? Why? Clemson at least played and beat Texas A&M. They're a ranked opponent. Alabama's played high school teams. They can stay at number 3. That's fine. It only matters if you're booted out of the top 4. But Georgia has beaten everybody they've played, and they've beaten a quality opponent. They beat Notre Dame last night. Move them up to number 2. That's how it should be done. Alabama at number 3, Oklahoma at number 4. No, LSU at number 4. LSU is going to give everybody trouble this year. I can tell. I think if any team threatens to throw everything off is LSU. Because I could definitely see LSU beating Georgia. I could see LSU beating Alabama. I can see LSU beating Auburn. And those are, right now, your 3 front runners to make it in the SEC championship and even the playoff. If you win the SEC championship game, you're going to the playoff. That's all there is to it. But, yeah, the Auburn game, that's the main one I want to talk about. The Auburn game was fantastic. I mean, right out the gate, a wide receiver reverse for a 57-yard touchdown. I mean, I was like, oh, shit, when I was watching that. And Bo Nix, I got to give it to that kid, man. He was showing the fuck out. I don't know if he scored yesterday because I know that they were putting Joey Gatewood in the game a lot for the red zone. He had a really good performance. He was scrambling with the ball. He was running to get the first down. I mean, he looked really in the zone yesterday. And I'm really excited to see. I just want to know what the fuck these people are doing outside. I don't know why they decided to do something that made as much noise as something possibly can right now, but I'm sorry. I hope it didn't ruin this episode for you. But, yeah, Bo Nix, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Give him like a year, 2 years, right as he's a junior and could possibly go into the draft. He is going to be the bomb.com. Mark my words. And, even Joey Gatewood. I like that we have 2 good quarterbacks that can swap off of each other. They can learn each week, hey, let's put Joey Gatewood in the game. Now let's put Bo Nix in the game. Joey Gatewood, Bo Nix. Joey Gatewood, just swap them back and forth. Make them both as versatile as the next one. That's what we need. Because if, God forbid, something happens to Bo Nix, Joey Gatewood's in the game. Boom. Or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? It's like Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts. And that's another thing, too. I'm hearing everybody say, oh, well, Tua, he definitely is going to win the Heisman this year. You threw 5 touchdowns against Southern Miss, bro. Did you not think that was going to happen? Let's be real. If I go down to the park and I play a group of kindergartners, I can play by myself. I'm probably going to run up the score on them. It just ain't fair. You know what the University of Southern Miss received for playing Alabama? Okay, well, Alabama scored 700 points on them. You know what Southern Miss got? Like $1.8 million. Here's a check. We're going to beat your ass. You're welcome. Alabama only has to play Texas A&M, LSU, and Auburn. They're not going to have any trouble with Texas A&M. Auburn proved that yesterday. LSU is the biggest threat to knock Alabama off this year. And then behind them is Auburn. Because from what I've seen, I'm going to be nervous watching that Auburn-LSU game. But at the end of the day, it is, I think it's going to be a good year for college football. I didn't watch any of the Oklahoma game. I didn't see any of Jalen Hurts' stats, but he is my favorite to win the Heisman this year. I really hope he does. If Auburn doesn't make it to the playoff, I hope Oklahoma does, and they face off Alabama versus Oklahoma for the national championship 2020 in New Orleans, and Jalen Hurts not only wins the Heisman, but he also pulls away the W and wins a national championship with Oklahoma. Goes in first round pick of the draft. That's what I hope happens, because Jalen Hurts is a class act, man. I love it. Even as a hardcore Auburn fan, I love me some Jalen Hurts. But Bo Nix, I could definitely see it, he was throwing some bombs down the field. He got a little bit too excited. But I understand, kid's only, 19 years old? Give him a little bit of time to develop that confidence in the pocket. He's slinging that bitch down the field. There were 3 plays where, had he not overthrown it, that would have been a touchdown every single time. They'd have been up 21 points. The score would have been 59-20. But yeah. I think that's about it, man. I think this wraps this episode up. I hate it that my buddy couldn't join along, but, I wanted to go ahead and shoot this and get it out of the way, because I got to edit it and I got to put it online, and it's going to take a little bit of time to upload. You know what I'm trying to say. So, once again, I appreciate all the feedback. If you have any questions you want answered or anything like that, please send them to me. If you, want one of these t-shirts, reach out and do something to show your love for the Mac Daddy Seminar. Because, look, we got them like that, okay? It's just the same thing on the back, okay? You want to show love and represent, just let me know. And, yeah, I appreciate everybody listening, and I will see you guys next week. This episode of the Mac Daddy Seminar is brought to you by Boots Down South. Summer is officially coming to an end. T-shirts and booty shorts are going back in your closet, and you got to start trying to find warmer clothes while looking fresh. Look no further than Boots Down South, a locally owned company looking to make sure everyone has a fall that they can enjoy comfortably while looking fly at the same time. Head over to bootsdownsouth.com right now. Support for the Mac Daddy Seminar also comes from Manscaped. Manscaped is dedicated to providing you with grooming tools for your family jewels. Look, we get it. Summer is ending and it's getting cooler. No need to trim up the old Alabama swamp, right? Wrong, okay? You got to keep that thing in check. With products like the Lawnmower 2.0, this thing will have you looking right down there, okay? You gotta check this out, okay? And ball wipes, look, don't even get me started on these, okay? They call them Crop Mop. They're refreshing ball wipes with active pH control, okay? These things are the truth, okay? This is my second package of them. I've already gone through the first one. I get done working out, don't want to take a shower. Fresh down there. You see what I'm saying? You got to go look this up, man. They're going to have you looking right through the holiday season downstairs, okay? Head over to manscaped.com right now and type in the promo code MacDaddy20 to get 20% off your first order. That's manscaped.com.